Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Inc. podcast, the Inspiration and Knowledge podcast. My name is Jonathan Alison, and I'm excited to bring you another wonderful discussion and edition of this podcast. Today, my friend all the way from Nigeria will be joining me, and we'll hop on a call where we'll be talking about potentials, discovering your potentials, maximizing your potentials, and getting to the full capacity of who you are meant to be as a child of God. So, at the beginning of this conversation, we established that potential and purpose are closely knitted together. What you are here on earth to do, what God sent you here to do on earth, is really, really connected to the potentials that He has deposited inside of you. And that's the foundation of this conversation. So, we cannot truly maximize potential without the consent of the Creator. And this is where we establish this discussion. Let me just inform you, when we're recording this, we had a lot of technical hitches. So the first part of the recording just mysteriously vanished. I don't know, but we're going to hop into the conversation. And from the aspect where it goes on, you will be blessed until the end of the podcast. I hope this will be really helpful to someone out there. And I pray that it will help you to come to full capacity as a child of God. God bless you. Let's join Reverend Edward Adejo and myself on this wonderful discussion. God bless you. Yeah, so when it comes to people not believing that they have these potentials.
Maybe people tell you that they see some potentials in you, and so you now begin to wonder whether those potentials are actually there. So many a times, the reason why these statements are made is in fact, let me just go straight to it. It's just a projection of self-doubt. Is most of the time it's a projection of self-doubt. Because if I tell you that I see something, rather than wonder as to whether or not what I'm seeing is there, what you should try to do is to try to see if you can see what I'm seeing. And now, if I am seeing something and you are not seeing the thing, when it comes to potentials now, I just said earlier that the reason you are able to see something is not just because you have a functional eyesight, but the level of light that is reflected on what you are seeing. So, what should be of concern to you if I tell you I see something that you don't see is to now see, okay, how is it that I'm seeing it? And so when that becomes your question, that curiosity can open you up to tap into the light from which I am seeing what you are seeing. And most times, when you operate with someone who sees in you something you don't see in yourself, in that manner, at the end of a conversation or at the end of some time together, you will begin to see what they see. Now, it is very important that we don't just wake up and say, okay, this person sees this in me. Let me now try to develop or deploy this. No. Try and even see, even if it's just a fraction of it. It's very important that you are able to see what the person is seeing, even if it's just a fraction of it. It goes a long way to determine how much you now believe and begin to commit to developing those abilities, those talents, those capabilities, and then...
Okay, because this situation has left some people confused before, Somebody comes to you and say, I see potential in you to do this, to do this, to do this. And sometimes maybe the person is thinking his or her whole life is going in another direction. Do you understand? Maybe the person has a plan to be a musician, and then something comes up, maybe in the direction of business or something that is far away from what the person is interested in. So how do we balance somebody's interest? Now, I'm interested in doing this, but someone sees me to have a potential to do this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sure.
Yes.
All right. So this opens up a very not complicated, but a kind of complex conversation, right? Now, there's one thing I like to say to people, that God, the creator of all things, is not just the savior of the world. He's not just the redeemer of the world. He is also the creator of all things. So, there is the operation of God with the saints, with the redeemed, with those who have accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. There's the operation of God with them by His Spirit. But there's also the operation of God with His creation. Right? So, now I'm saying this because if I begin to say things like, if I begin to bring in things like discernment, being attentive to the voice of the Spirit for guidance and all of that, people who may still be on their path to coming into this life that we now have may be thrown off. Right? They may be thrown off. But that's why I mentioned that part of God being the creator of all things, who has a purpose for everything He creates. So, whereas for those who have now been saved and have come into a functional relationship with Him, He guides them by His Spirit. By His Spirit, not just to give them instructions, not just to give them direction, but to also have a relationship with them. For those who have not yet come in, considering the fact that they are also creation of His, who have a purpose, as it has to do with the overall creation of His, He still walks through them to give direction in some ways. So it comes through intuition, it comes through instincts, and it comes through different ways that He tries to point them. And so to answer your question, in trying to create a balance, this is the balance. There is a direction for every creation in executing purpose. There is a unique direction and path for every creation of God as long as it has to do with achieving their purpose. So now, the person that has come to you to say, I see these potentials in you, one of the things you must also realize is that we all view life according to our lane of operation. That's a very fundamental and important subject again, such that is why no matter how much I look up to you, no matter how much I respect you as a mentor, no matter how much I appreciate you as a leader, I must be careful to still maintain my originality as it has to do with my pursuit of purpose. Because although our parts are all integrated, we still have our individual differences. So you may come to me now, and based on the light that you have, you shine your light on me. You spot something that I've not spotted. Now, that you have spotted what you have spotted in me may easily draw you to seeing the application of that potential I have in your own path. And you may try to project that to me. It's not something that is done deliberately or consciously. Some people who have mastered this, they really use this to manipulate people. Do you get? They really use it to manipulate. In fact, by the time they speak to you and they engage with you, they are engaging with you in using that your potential directly in their path. But they will communicate it to you in a way that you will feel that what you are eventually going to do is your path. And at the end of the day, you are deploying effectively, but you are not finding fulfillment. Because what you are deploying is your potential, yes, but not in your own pursuit or in another man's pursuit. Do you get? Yeah. So
this thing has caused issues, oh.
Yes, no, sure. It's a very slippery. The difference, the line is very thin. Right? So this is also not to say that I'm now saying everybody has their lane. So you be on your lane, let me be on my lane. Don't try. I don't have to come and walk in your vision. I don't have to come and walk in your path. That's absolutely not what we're saying. Because one of the things we must realize is that there's one creator who is the creator of all things. And one way or the other, everything He has created is connected. One way or the other, everything He has created is connected. So the truth is, you as someone who has more light, that has seen potential in me, if you are able to be neutral enough to just help me find my potential and encourage me in finding my path, in deploying this potential, you'll be so amazed how I am deploying my potential in my pursuit, but it is also aiding your own pursuit. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that's how it is.
Yeah, because like I said, this discussion has really caused many issues, especially in ministry for people, where maybe
Yeah.
people feel like they've developed their potentials enough, and they feel like they are being suppressed at the end of the day. They cannot really express themselves fully
Express themselves. Yeah.
under. Do you understand? So
Yes.
we see Samuel and Eli, at a point this person has to give way for this person to manifest. You understand, or send this person forth. Like mentoring comes to a point where this person has grown to a full potential where this person can move into his own place of expression and all of that. But I hear conversations a lot. I see a lot of arguments of people having that, they have come to a point where, yes, they've developed themselves and they still don't have the ability to show themselves now that they have developed fully. Yeah. So this brings me to the question of let me just ask the question. You've touched it a bit, but it talks about, are there processes that we must follow for our potentials to come to full light?
All right. Very important question. And the scenario you painted before this question, very important. And we see this causing a lot of issues, right? We see it causing a lot of issues here and there. And that's why that part where I spoke about, for the believer now who has a functional relationship with God, it's very important that you are now attentive to the guidance of the Holy Spirit as he leads you in relating with him. Now, for the one who is not yet in this kingdom, who we can't speak of relationship with the Spirit, right? Now, that person just moves by their instincts and by their intuition, which is still God using them in fulfilling. Note, everything we call purpose, everything I call my purpose, at the end of the day, it's not really my purpose, because I am not the creator of me. Yeah, so it's my purpose, but it's not about me. It's about the creator, right? It's about the creator. Good. So, whether it is by the one that works by the instincts of the creator, who doesn't have a relationship, a functional relationship, like someone in the kingdom who is born again has a functional relationship with God, who is also now led by the Spirit. In both ways, the thing is, there is an individual direction and guidance in this path of fulfilling purpose, in the pursuit to which potential is necessary. Now, when it comes to whether there are processes, so maybe I should stay under the tutelage of this person until maybe I get to the point where it's assumed that I have wings to fly, and then maybe I'm released and I'm let go. All those talk and all of that.
Yeah.
There is nothing in this world that says that my pursuit cannot be 100% accomplished under the covering of another person.
Okay.
One of the things we must realize is that purpose is about the creator.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, just like you feel that you are working under another man's vision, what you do not realize is that that man himself is working under his vision. So I am a slave of his vision to the extent to which he is also a slave to his vision. So we are both servants of this vision.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So now the question is, what's the direction that the Lord is leading me? If the Lord is not leading me to begin a fresh walk, as it were, there is nothing wrong with me staying here. Now, guess what? Even if it now gets to the point where maybe I feel that the Lord is not saying I should begin a fresh walk, but this person that I'm staying with, maybe I get to a point with him where he says, I think you should go and begin a fresh walk. We also have that kind of situation. I believe you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
Maybe the person feels that this guy has been with me for too long. Maybe there are some things that are just for whatever reason. He now says that I think it is time for you to go and begin a fresh walk. Note that what I said is, our loyalty is not to the old one. No. Our loyalty is not to the O1. Our loyalty is to the Creator. So we are under the O1 to the extent that the Creator has ordained or permitted that we are under that O1. If a time comes that the O1 himself says, okay, I want you to go, I want to release you.
Yes.
It still comes to, you remember what Paul said about marriage? Paul said, if you are married to an unbeliever, now that you have become a believer, you don't have to leave them. You don't have to leave them. But if they say you should leave, then you can leave. The Creator is not oblivious of the details of our operations. So if it gets to the point where this O1 now says, okay, I think I can now release you. The same person that has kept you with the O1, pay attention to what he's saying and flow according to his leading and according to his direction. So it takes away the place of, okay, so there's apprenticeship, okay, stay with me for 7 years, by then your potential would have developed. See, all those things those things are constructs that are made by man in their assumption of development.
Okay.
Because just like you have leaders who grow up under the tutelage of other leaders, there are leaders who just take off. And they did not grow up under anybody's tutelage.
Yes.
We had a Samuel who grew up in the house of Eli. We had an Elisha who poured water on the hands of Elijah. But who did Elijah pour water on? Do you understand? So yes, there is that place of mentorship, of staying under someone, spending time for the process of development and growth. But it is not an absolute. And this is the reason why it's not an absolute. Because the owner of purpose is the Creator. Yeah. So in this instance, he may have fashioned that my development comes by the process of growing under this mentor. Yeah. But in another instance, it may be that his design is that I just hit the ground running.
Like Paul.
No matter, yes, life has shown to us that no matter the training you go through under a mentor, you can still make some mistakes after you have done your freedom.
Yes.
So if the reason why I should stay under mentor is so that I don't make mistakes, and I'm making mistakes, I haven't stayed under mentor, and the other person that has also gone without staying under mentor is making mistakes, then avoidance of mistake is not the essence of mentorship. See, the bottom line is whether it is to stay under the mentor, whether it is to spend time growing under the tutelage of another O1, or whether it is to hit the ground running on your own, it has to be according to the design of the Creator. Wow. It has to be according to the design of the Creator. Wow. So, as human beings, as people who pursue purpose, who go to add value and contribute to our world, the most important thing, and you see, there are so many things that reveal this. At the end of the day, when we stand to give account, we start to give account to the Creator.
Yes.
We start to give account to the Creator. So it is so we must ensure that every step we are taking is as sanctioned by Him. Because every step has its merit and demerits. So on their merit and demerits alone, that may not determine the validity. That's why you see sometimes some people now take some parts, and maybe because of one or two principles that they think is responsible for that decision, they now go. At the end of the day, they are very effective, but they are not fulfilled. And that lack of fulfillment is not like it's a self thing. No, it's one of the things that signals whether you are on the right path.
Yeah.
So yes, I agree that there are processes of development. I agree to all of that, but it is not to bind us. Most important thing is to be attentive to the leading of the Creator. So if He leads you to stay under this person, forget about whether you feel. You see, as humans, at this stage of our development, we should have realized that life is not about how I feel. Life is not in any way about how I feel. Our feelings are very good and they are very valid. But our feelings were not given to guide us. They were just given to, to accompany us and to determine the spice in our journey in life. Those are not the things to guide and determine where we go and how we go.
Yeah,
So
somebody
yes,
said feelings are bad leaders.
yes, feelings are bad leaders because they were never meant to be leaders. The feelings were never meant to be leaders. So when you allow what was not meant to lead you, it's not his problem that you are being misled. It's not its problem at all that you are being misled.
Wow, this is very profound. One of the statements you made, I told you guys that Reverend Edward is very, very experienced in this field. And as you can see, the words that are coming out of his mouth are very, very heavy words. And I hope that we're picking one or two things from the conversation so far. He said, our loyalty is not to our potential, but to our creator. So you have potentials, there are things that you can do, but your loyalty to your development is to a end of meeting the purpose for which you are here on earth. And this is very, very profound, because many times we feel like when we have come to full maturity, a place of full capacity, we think that we can now do without anybody and do what we feel like doing. But there is a purpose that is the underlining foundation for why we have the potentials that we have. And our loyalty to the creator makes us to be able to focus on achieving that purpose, whether we are under somebody, whether we are following different processes, or whatever phase of life that you are. Thank you very much, Pastor Edward, for that very, 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 very deep statement.
And sorry, please, also to add to that, you will notice that when focus is now on the creator, let me use a very practical example to say this. Now let's assume that we are both domestic servants of a boss, right?
Yes.
For some reason, we don't really get along. We don't really get along for some reason. But do you realize that if we are both loyal to our boss, by the time people see us working, they will feel that we're like the best of friends.
Yes.
Just that. So some of these divisions and some of this rebellion and some of this toxicity you see among people who are in pursuit of purpose is because their focus is not on the creator. See, when our focus is on the creator, right? When our focus is on the creator, most of the bad blood that exists amongst us because of our differences and all of that, we will see how we just trivialize them when we are working. Yeah.
I agree. Because anything that engineers greed or engineers self-centeredness, at the end of the day, is betraying the purpose for which God sent us here, you know?
Yes.
We have to be selfless. Every assignment that is from God makes us to be selfless, right? Makes us to walk in a way that we're thinking about the assignment first. We're thinking about people first. We're thinking about the goal first before we're thinking about our own self-aggrandizement or however the word is, you know? Yeah, so as an individual man of God, as we begin to round up, because we have said a lot today, as we begin to round up, as an individual, how did you harness your own potential? Have you been mentored and all of that? And how have you come to a place where you know that, yes, my potentials are in full display and people can actually come to tap from what you have now?
Okay, so that's a very difficult one. That's a very difficult one for me because most times I don't talk about myself.
Yes, I know. That's why I asked you that question, because we grew up together. So I've seen you. We have grown from when we're not doing any of these kind of things, you know, to the point where we're doing things together, to the point where we have gone to school, to the point where we have, you know, life. Now we are parents, we are this, we are that, you know, life has happened over the years. So yes, how do you factor in all of this into building yourself as a reverend, as who you are now?
Okay, so let me try to see what I can say, and I hope that he addresses the question to an extent.
Yeah.
So now, like we started from the beginning, potentials. They speak of abilities, innate abilities, talents, and
Yes.
some capabilities. Now, sometimes they are known, sometimes they are not known. Now, even when they are known and discovered, sometimes it's just a fraction of it that is discovered. But the beautiful thing about this is, one way or the other, the Creator makes a way for us to identify our potentials.
Yeah.
Sometimes working with one unlocks another. Sometimes just working with one just keeps unfolding the different faces of that one, right? So for me, and with the emphasis again on the Creator, there's this parable I like, the parable of the prodigal son.
Yeah.
You know, in that parable, most times we celebrate or we focus on the fact that this guy collected his portion of the inheritance, he left, he spent, he wasted it, he came back, and then the father welcomed him, and the eldest brother was now not happy with the fact that this one that was lost, he came back and see how you are celebrating him. Now, if you look at that end part of the parable, the brother expressed his disappointment that the father was celebrating this son who was lost, but that he has been here with the father, he has been obedient, he has been attentive to the father, but the father has not really thrown any party or done anything to celebrate him.
Yeah.
Now, look at what the father said to him. He said everything. Let me just be straight with what he said in my paraphrase.
Yeah.
I am your tenant. Me, your father. Everything I'm enjoying now, including what I'm using to celebrate your brother, they all belong to you, which is very true and makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Because the attitude of that second brother, you can agree with me that when the father was sharing his property, he had to share it into two for the both of them.
Yeah.
That guy wouldn't have and shouldn't have collected anything because it was in his inheritance, his portion of inheritance that he wanted. So, of course, share your inheritance. You have two children, right? Share for the two. And so he went with his own. He exhausted his own.
Boom.
And when he came back, there was enough to still accommodate him, take care of him, and every other thing. Everything that was available belonged to the elder brother.
Yeah.
If the elder brother had also decided to go away with his inheritance, he may have also lavished it. The story shows it, makes it clear that the elder brother who stayed with the father, with focus on the father, could harness his own resources. So, significance on focus on the Creator, on the Father.
Yeah.
Now, because of oversight and ignorance, we may not, you see, that's why sometimes when some people who have lived life sit down to take a record of their life, they now begin to realize how much they have achieved. They begin to realize how much impact they made. So some people do not really make impact in life by starting out with a desire to make impact. Some people make impact in life by starting out with focus on the Creator, on the calls within them, on the things that propel them to add value and to deliver. And so they live through life, and at the end, they see how much impact they have made. So, me as a person, I'm someone who I have been helped by God to love the Lord. Because you see, this loving the Lord is by the enablement of the Lord. So that's why it's not to anybody's credit that they are in the faith. It's not to anybody's credit that they are still lovers of God. It's as enabled by God. So I've been helped by God to set my eyes on Him from a very tender age. And in setting my eyes on Him, yes, I've had challenges. I've met situations where it was like I was not capable and I was not able in many areas. But in my walk with Him, I have found areas where I was able. Spending time in those areas of my abilities, of my talents, of my strengths, as it were. I say strengths, as it were, because I am somebody who does not believe that we all have strengths and weaknesses. I don't believe that at all.
Okay, we'll discuss that in another podcast.
Yes. We'll discuss that in another podcast. But before I'm being misunderstood, the idea of not believing in strength and weakness is strictly to purpose. If I was not created to fly and I cannot fly, it doesn't mean I have a weakness in flying. It's my creation. It's my purpose. All right. So by God's grace, I was able to identify some abilities and the rest. God leading, God helping, working with those abilities, I've come to where I have come. And as long as we are alive, it means there is still more to be done. It means there is still more to discover about ourselves. Yeah. It means there is still more contribution to make in our society.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you very much, man of God. This is very, 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 very enlightening. I hope that you've picked up something today from today's podcast. And thank you so much, Reverend, for this eye-opening session that we just had. We're not going to empty the Reverend today because you cannot even empty him. So we're going to have more and more of this kind of discussions just to charge young people around the world, or even people that are in middle age and even the elderly ones, because somebody like Moses started his assignment at 80, So these kind of conversations are relevant to everybody. It goes across board. And we've learned today how potentials are important, how we can develop them, how we can base them on purpose and not selfish interests, and all of these things. Yeah. And Reverend Edward has done an exhaustive job in making us to understand all of this today. So thank you very much once again, Reverend, for joining us today. We were absolutely blessed, and I hope this helps someone. Any final words before we round up?
All right. So once again, thank you very much to you, my brother. Thank you so much for the amazing work you do, and thank you for the privilege of engaging at the times that we've engaged. Now, for every living soul out there, I want to leave you with this. No one was created for nothing.
Yeah.
No one was created with nothing.
Yeah.
No one was created for nothing. That's purpose. No one was created with nothing. That's potential. So the Creator has designed you to make contributions. And He has designed you with abilities to make these contributions. It is His desire that you find these abilities one way or the other, that you harness them and that you deploy them for the good of His creation. So keep your eyes on Him and keep walking with Him. Thank you very much.
So much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is really, really profound. I hope you were blessed. And like I always say, look for a Bible-believing church around you. Be a part of it. Give your life to God and live a life of prayers and dedication to the Word of God. This is how you sharpen yourself and you stay sensitive and you get to the fullness of your potentials. I hope this was helpful to someone. Once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening to this point. Please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave a comment as we usually require. And God bless you. See you on the next one.